Imagine stepping into 2025 with a fire inside you, a sense of power, and the certainty that nothing can stop you. But tell me the truth. How many times have you let fear, doubt, or distraction hold you back from becoming who you were meant to be? The way you face this year will define where you end up when it's over. If you live with courage, discipline, and purpose, you will grow stronger, achieve more, and feel unstoppable. But if you drift through the days without direction, without focus, then another year will pass and nothing will change. Today, you're going to discover the Stoic secrets that will transform the way you think, act, and live in 2025. These are not just ideas, they are powerful tools proven by time to help you rise above excuses and take full control of your life. So get ready, because after this video, you will never see challenges the same way again. Before we begin, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Write in the comments. This is not just a phrase, it is a promise you make to yourself. The more you repeat it, the more it becomes part of who you are. So write it down now, and let's get started. I am unstoppable. Number 1. Practice negative visualization. Stop for a moment and think about this. Everything you have right now, your health, your family, your home, your job, your freedom, can be taken away in an instant. You could wake up tomorrow and discover that life has changed forever. But tell me the truth. How often do you really think about that? Most of the time we take everything for granted. We assume the people we love will always be there. We assume our health will always be strong. We assume tomorrow will look just like today, and that is why we waste time, complain, and act as if life is endless. Negative visualization is the opposite of this illusion. It is the Stoic practice of imagining loss before it happens. Not to depress you, not to make you anxious, but to make you awake. When you picture what it would be like to lose what you love, suddenly you value it more. You hold it closer. You see how precious it really is. Think about Marcus Aurelius. Every night he reminded himself that he might not see the morning. Every day he reminded himself that he would lose everything, his throne, his health, his life. And yet, this did not make him weak. It made him stronger. It gave him perspective. It helped him understand that every breath was a gift, every sunrise a chance to act with courage and gratitude. When you practice negative visualization, you armor yourself against life's surprises. If you imagine what it would be like to lose your job, then when challenges come at work, you don't collapse. You adapt because you already prepared your mind. If you imagine what it would be like to lose your health, you will stop wasting time with excuses and start taking care of your body. If you imagine what it would be like to lose someone you love, you will not waste another day being cold or distant. You will love them fully today. The truth is, most people only wake up after tragedy. They only realize the value of something when it is gone. Don't be like that. Don't wait for loss to teach you what gratitude could have taught you sooner. Use negative visualization to make yourself present, awake, and unshakable. How do you do it? Simple. Take a few minutes each day to close your eyes and imagine life without the things you depend on. Imagine waking up in silence because your loved ones are no longer there. Imagine your health failing, your strength gone. Imagine losing your freedom. Let the picture be real enough that you feel the absence. Then open your eyes and look at your life again. Look at your family, your body, your freedom, your opportunities. You will see them with new eyes. You will feel gratitude, and that gratitude will give you strength. Now understand this. Negative visualization does not mean living in fear. It means living in clarity. It means you stop sleepwalking through life and start realizing how fragile, how temporary, and how precious everything is. And once you see that clearly, your energy changes. You stop wasting time. You stop procrastinating. You stop caring about petty problems. You rise above small worries because you know what truly matters. Seneca said, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." This is the key. When you practice imagining loss, nothing shocks you, nothing breaks you. When tragedy comes, and it will, you will not be destroyed because you trained your mind to face it. Instead, you will endure, you will adapt, and you will move forward. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't just rush into the day. Take 1 minute, just one. Sit up, close your eyes, and imagine that today is your last. Imagine that tonight everything you love will vanish. How would you live those hours? What would you say? What would you do differently? Then open your eyes and live that way. Because one day, it really will be your last morning, your last conversation, your last chance. Remember this: negative visualization is not about sadness. It is about power. It is about sharpening your mind, strengthening your gratitude, and making you unstoppable in the face of loss. Don't let comfort blind you. Don't let routine make you careless. Life is short, and everything can change in a second. So from this day forward, carry this thought with you. Every breath could be your last, and that is exactly why you must live with courage, gratitude, and intensity. This is the Stoic way. Number 2, detach from outcomes, attach to effort. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you set a goal, worked hard, and then felt crushed because the result didn't go your way? Maybe you trained for months but didn't win the race. Maybe you studied but didn't get the grade you wanted. Maybe you poured your heart into a project but didn't receive recognition. And what happened? You lost energy. You lost motivation. You felt like giving up. That is the problem of living for outcomes. When you tie your happiness to results, you give away your power. You say, "I'll be happy only if I win, only if I get the promotion, only if people applaud me." But what if those things don't come? What if life doesn't reward you right away? Will you stop? Will you give up? The Stoics had a better way. They taught that you must detach from outcomes and attach yourself to effort. Why? Because outcomes are never fully in your control. You can influence them, but you cannot command them. The race has weather, judges, competitors. The job has politics, timing, and other applicants. The world is filled with things you cannot control. If you base your peace of mind on them, you will always be at the mercy of chance. But effort, that is always yours. Discipline is yours. Focus is yours. Showing up every day, giving your best, refusing to quit, that is something no one can take from you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of effort over outcome. Think of the archer. The Stoics loved this example. The archer can aim carefully, train daily, strengthen his body, and practice his focus. He can draw the bow with perfect technique. But once the arrow leaves the string, it is no longer his. A gust of wind may blow it off course. The target may move. A distraction may throw it off. The outcome is not guaranteed, but the effort, the hours of training, the discipline to aim well, that is his victory. When you live attached to effort, you free yourself. You stop obsessing about whether you will succeed or fail, and instead, you put all your energy into the present moment. You stop asking, "What will happen?" and you start asking, Am I giving my best right now? That shift makes you unstoppable because results no longer control you. This is why some people keep moving forward while others give up. The ones who give up are those who wanted results and didn't get them. The ones who endure are those who love the process, who care more about the work than the applause. The Stoics understood this deeply. Fortune is not always fair, life is not always just, but effort is always noble. So how do you practice this? Every day, remind yourself of this truth. The scoreboard does not matter. What matters is the work you put in today. If you write, focus on writing with clarity and discipline, not on whether the book will sell. If you train, focus on giving your body everything you can, not on whether the medal will come. If you lead, focus on serving with integrity, not on whether people praise you. When you detach from outcomes, something powerful happens. You actually perform better. Why? Because you are no longer tense, no longer anxious, no longer distracted by fear of failure. You are present, fully absorbed in the effort, and this focus often produces better results than obsession ever could. But even if the result doesn't come, you still win. Why? Because you lived with excellence, you lived with discipline, you honored your effort. Epictetus taught, "Some things are up to us, some are not." This is the law of life. Outcomes are not up to you. Effort is. So why waste energy crying over what you cannot control? Put all of it into what you can. Ask yourself this: what kind of person do you want to be? Someone who only tries when success is guaranteed, or someone who fights, works, and gives their best, even when the odds are against them? The Stoic answer is clear. Greatness is not measured by trophies, but by effort, by discipline, by resilience. So from today forward, whenever you face a challenge, tell yourself this: the outcome is not mine, the effort is mine. Then step forward and give everything you have. If you win, good. If you lose, still good. Because in both cases, you lived with courage. And that is true victory. Remember this: success is not in the result, it is in the effort. Detach from outcomes, attach to effort. Do this, and nothing can stop you. Number 3, journal like a philosopher. Let me ask you something. How many thoughts pass through your mind each day? Hundreds, thousands. You worry, you plan, you doubt, you dream. But tell me the truth. How many of those thoughts actually help you grow? Most of them disappear, forgotten as quickly as they came. Others stay and drain your energy because you never take the time to examine them. And so, your mind becomes a battlefield. No order, no clarity, no control. The Stoics had a solution: journaling. They didn't journal like teenagers writing about crushes and secrets. They journaled like philosophers, warriors of the mind. They wrote to prepare themselves for life, to reflect on their mistakes, to sharpen their principles. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was nothing more than his private journal. He never wrote it for the world. He wrote it for himself, to strengthen his character, to prepare for each day, to train his mind. Journaling is not about being a writer, it's about being awake. When you put your thoughts on paper, you stop letting them run wild in your head. You force them into the light where you can examine them. You separate what is useful from what is foolish, what is within your control from what is not. The page becomes your mirror, showing you who you are, who you want to be, and where you are falling short. Think about it. When you start your day, your mind is fresh but also vulnerable. Distractions, emotions, and problems will soon attack you. If you don't ground yourself, you will be carried away by every impulse. That's why Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by writing. He reminded himself of what kind of man he wanted to be, what challenges he might face, and how he should respond. This was his armor. His journal was his shield. You need the same. Take 5 or 10 minutes each morning to sit down with a notebook. Not your phone, not a screen, a notebook. Why? Because writing by hand forces you to slow down, to think, to feel each word. Ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to live? What challenges might I face? How will I respond with strength, patience, and discipline? Write your answers. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be honest. Then, in the evening, return to the page. Ask yourself, how did I do today? Where did I live with courage? Where did I fail? What can I do better tomorrow? Write it down. Don't judge yourself harshly. Simply record it, learn from it, and grow. This is how you build wisdom, one page, one day, one lesson at a time. Seneca said, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit of mine, I examine my entire day and measure my deeds and words." This was his way of journaling, an evening reflection, holding himself accountable. You can do the same. Here's the truth. Journaling like a philosopher will change your life, not because the words are magical, but because the practice builds self-awareness. You stop living on autopilot. You start noticing your patterns. You see where you are strong and where you are weak. And with that clarity, you gain power. You can't change what you refuse to face. But when it's on the page, there's no escape. You must face yourself. Don't think you're too busy. If an emperor ruling an empire found time to journal, you can find 10 minutes. The excuses are lies. The truth is, you don't lack time. You lack discipline. So here is your challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you grab your phone, open a notebook. Write down your intentions for the day. Write what kind of person you want to be when challenges come. Then, in the evening, return to the page and write what actually happened. Repeat this every day. Watch how your mind sharpens, how your focus grows, how your life changes. Remember this, journaling is not about recording your life. It is about refining your life. It is not about remembering what happened. It is about deciding how you will live. Journal like a philosopher, and your words will shape your character. Your character will shape your actions, and your actions will shape your destiny. So don't just let your days slip away. Don't let your mind be a storm of unexamined thoughts. Pick up the pen. Face yourself. Train your soul. Journal like a philosopher, and you will carry wisdom with you into every single day. Number 4. Seek discomfort in reputation. Let's be honest. How many decisions in your life are guided not by wisdom, not by courage, but by fear of what others will think? You want to speak up, but you stay silent because you fear judgment. You want to take a risk, but you hesitate because you worry about your reputation. You want to live freely, but you chain yourself to the opinions of strangers. And what happens? You become a prisoner, not of your circumstances, but of your image. The Stoics taught a harder, braver way. Seek discomfort in reputation. In other words, stop chasing the approval of the crowd. Stop needing everyone to like you, praise you, or agree with you. True freedom is not found in applause. It is found in indifference to it. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote to himself, "If you are ever tempted to seek approval, remember that the same people who applaud you today will curse you tomorrow." He knew the truth. Reputation is unstable. It changes like the wind. If you let your peace depend on it, you will never be steady. But if you can learn to stand firm while others criticize, mock, or misunderstand you, then you will be unshakable. Think about it. Every great man or woman who changed the world faced rejection first. Socrates was mocked, condemned, and killed for his ideas. Marcus Aurelius was hated by rivals who spread lies about him. Epictetus was a slave, and many Romans looked down on him despite his wisdom. Did they let reputation control them? No, they sought discomfort. They embraced the risk of being misunderstood because they valued truth over popularity, principle over applause. Now, let me ask you, how often do you avoid action because you fear looking foolish? How often do you stay quiet because you fear someone will laugh? This is weakness disguised as caution. The Stoic way is to seek that very discomfort. Speak the truth even if it makes you unpopular. Take the step forward even if people laugh. Build the muscle of courage by letting go of reputation. Here's the reality. The more you seek comfort in reputation, the weaker you become. The more you seek discomfort in reputation, the stronger you become. Why? Because when you let yourself be criticized and you survive, you realize that other people's opinions cannot actually harm you. They are just words. They are just noise. And once you see that clearly, you are free. So how do you practice this? Start small. If you are afraid of being judged, put yourself in situations where judgment is guaranteed. Speak in public. Share your ideas. Take on responsibility where failure is possible. When criticism comes, and it will, face it calmly. Don't argue, don't beg for approval. Simply hold your ground. Remind yourself of this truth. Reputation is external, but character is internal. Work on your character and let reputation take care of itself. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Powerful words. Improvement requires the willingness to be mocked. Growth requires the courage to be underestimated. If you can endure being misunderstood, you will grow beyond those who always play it safe. Think about your own life. Imagine what you could achieve if you stopped caring about what others think. Imagine what risks you would take, what dreams you would pursue, what truths you would speak. Most people never discover this freedom because they are too addicted to approval. Don't be one of them. Break the addiction. Train your mind to love discomfort. Remember this: your reputation is not who you are. It is only what others think you are, and their thoughts change every moment. Your character, your effort, your discipline, these are who you really are. Build those, live by those, and let the world gossip while you grow stronger. So from today, seek discomfort in reputation. Don't avoid it, walk into it. Speak even when your voice shakes. Act even when others roll their eyes. Stand tall even when they laugh. Why? Because the goal is not to be liked. The goal is to be free. And freedom, the Stoics knew, comes only when you stop living for reputation and start living for principle. Number 5, redefine wealth as fewer needs. Tell me the truth. When you think of wealth, what comes to mind? A bigger house, a faster car, a larger bank account. Society has trained you to believe that wealth means having more. More possessions, more comfort, more luxury. But let me ask you, if more is the measure of wealth, why are so many people who have everything still miserable, anxious, and restless? Why do they lie awake at night, afraid of losing what they own? Why do they chase endlessly, yet never feel satisfied. The Stoics flipped this idea upside down. They taught that true wealth is not found in having more, but in needing less. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Think about that. A man who owns little but is content, who wakes up each morning grateful for what he has. He is richer than the millionaire who still wants more, who is never satisfied, who is always hungry for the next thing. Wealth is not in possessions, it is in perspective. If you always need more, you will always feel poor. If you can be satisfied with less, you will always feel rich. Let's test this. Imagine a man who eats simple bread and water each day, and he is content. Now imagine another man who eats gourmet meals, drinks expensive wine, but feels empty when he cannot have more. Which one is wealthier? The first, because he controls his desires. The second is a slave to them. The Stoics practiced this truth daily. They lived simply, even when they could afford luxury. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he chose modest clothes and plain food. Why? Because he knew that comfort makes you soft, but discipline makes you strong. He understood that freedom comes not from adding possessions, but from subtracting desires. Ask yourself, how many of your problems come from wanting what you do not have? How much stress do you create by chasing things you don't truly need? That bigger house, that new gadget, that constant comparison to others. It never ends. You tell yourself, once I get this, I'll be happy. But when you get it, you only want the next thing. That is not wealth, that is slavery. So, what's the Stoic answer? Redefine wealth as fewer needs. Train yourself to enjoy what is already in front of you. Learn to find joy in simplicity. Eat a plain meal and remind yourself that you don't need luxury to be satisfied. Sleep on a hard bed sometimes, just to prove that you don't need silk to rest. Take a walk without your phone, and remember that nature is free, and it gives you more peace than any expensive entertainment. This doesn't mean you must reject success or comfort. It means you must not be owned by them. If fortune gives you riches, enjoy them with moderation, but don't depend on them. If fortune takes them away, remain unshaken, because your true wealth was never in gold or silver. It was in your mind, your discipline, your freedom from endless craving. Epictetus, who was born a slave, put it perfectly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. He had nothing, yet he was free. How many rich men today can say the same? Here is your challenge. Starting today, measure your wealth not by what you have, but by what you can live without. Try this exercise. Spend one day with the simplest food, the simplest clothes, no luxuries at all. Ask yourself, do I really need more than this? You will be surprised at how little it takes to live well and how free you feel when desires no longer control you. Remember this, the poor man is not the one who lacks possessions. The poor man is the one who is never satisfied. And the rich man is not the one who owns the most. The rich man is the one who needs the least. So from this day forward, redefine wealth. Don't chase endless cravings. Don't measure your life by the size of your house or the weight of your wallet. Measure it by your freedom, your gratitude, your ability to live with less and still feel complete. Because true wealth is not about abundance of things. It is about mastery of self. Number 6. Use insults as mirrors. Think about the last time someone insulted you. Maybe they called you lazy. Maybe they mocked your appearance. Maybe they laughed at your mistakes. How did you feel? Angry? Hurt? Defensive? Did you replay their words in your mind over and over, letting them poison your mood, maybe even your entire day? This is the trap most people fall into. They believe insults are wounds. They let every word cut them. They let every opinion control their emotions. And because of this, they walk through life weak, fragile, and easily broken. But the Stoics taught a different way. They said insults are not wounds, they are mirrors. They reflect something back to you. Sometimes the reflection is false, and it tells you more about the person throwing the insult than about yourself. Other times the reflection is true, and it reveals a weakness you can improve. Either way, insults are opportunities, not injuries. Epictetus said, "If anyone tells you that such a person speaks ill of you, don't make excuses. Simply answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, or else he would not have mentioned only these.'" Do you see the power in this? Instead of being offended, he used insults to gain perspective. If the insult was true, he faced it honestly. If it was false, he let it go. Either way, he remained free. So how do you use insults as mirrors? Simple. When someone insults you, stop. Don't react with emotion. Don't rush to defend yourself. Ask a question instead. Is there truth in what they say? If yes, be grateful. You have just been given a free lesson about yourself. If no, then why be upset? Would you be angry if someone called you a tree or a cloud? No, because it's not true. So why be angry if someone calls you lazy or weak when you know you are not? Let me give you an example. Suppose someone says, "You're always late." Your first reaction might be anger. But if you look into the mirror, you might realize they are right. You have been careless with time. Instead of rage, feel gratitude. That insult just pointed out a flaw you can now correct. You grow stronger because of it. Now imagine someone calls you stupid when you know you study, you work, you think carefully. Why be angry? Their insult is like throwing dirt at the wind. It comes back to them, not you. Here's the truth. Insults only hurt if you give them power. They are just words. They carry no weight unless you attach your ego to them. When you let go of ego, insults bounce off you. Or better, they sharpen you. You either dismiss them as false or use them as tools for growth. In both cases, you win. Marcus Aurelius faced constant criticism as emperor. Enemies plotted against him. Citizens complained about him. Rivals spread lies. But he wrote in Meditations, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." That is the Stoic shield. An insult cannot touch you unless you open the door. Close the door. Stand firm. Now, here's how you can practice this. The next time someone insults you, pause before reacting. Breathe. Ask, is this true? If it is, accept it and let it guide you to improvement. If it isn't, let it fall away like a stone that never reached you. Train yourself to treat every insult as feedback, either for growth or for indifference. Remember this: the world is full of people who will judge, mock, and criticize. You cannot control their mouths, but you can control your mind. If you let every insult injure you, you will live as their slave. But if you use insults as mirrors, you will turn every attack into a chance for strength. So from today, stop fearing insults. Seek them. Welcome them. Let them show you where you can grow, and let them reveal the weakness of those who throw lies. Either way, you rise above. Because the truth is this: insults are not chains unless you wear them. To the Stoic, insults are mirrors. and mirrors always help you see more clearly. Number 7. Die before you die. Tell me the truth. How often do you live as if you will never die? You delay what matters. You postpone what you love. You say, tomorrow I'll start. Tomorrow I'll change. Tomorrow I'll live differently. But what if tomorrow never comes? What if tonight is the last sunset you will ever see? This is why the Stoics taught one of their most powerful practices: die before you die. In other words, face your own death now before it arrives, so that when it finally comes, you will not be afraid. You will already be prepared. Most people spend their lives running from death. They pretend it is far away, that it won't happen to them, at least not yet. And because of this illusion, they waste time. They scroll for hours. They argue over nonsense. They live like immortals. But the Stoic wakes up each day with death on his mind, not in fear, but in clarity. He says to himself, I could leave life right now. Let me live today as if it were my last. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Imagine the power of that mindset. Imagine how much sharper your focus would be if you truly believed this was your final day. Would you waste time on gossip? Would you spend hours chasing distractions? No. You would live with urgency, with courage, with presence. Seneca wrote, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. This is the key. To die before you die means to kill procrastination, to kill fear, to kill attachment to what doesn't matter. It means to strip life down to its essentials: virtue, love, service, presence. Think of how differently you would treat the people around you if you remembered they too could be gone tomorrow. Would you still hold grudges? Would you still speak with harshness? Or would you love them fiercely, knowing that every hug could be the last, every word could be the final one they remember from you? Now, this practice does not mean living in despair. It does not mean walking around depressed about death. Quite the opposite. It means freeing yourself from fear. When you face death honestly, you see life more clearly. You stop being afraid of small problems. You stop worrying about reputation, money, or status. You realize none of it goes with you when you die. What remains? How you lived, the courage you showed, the love you gave, the principles you stood for. So how do you practice this? Start by meditating on your mortality every day. In the morning, remind yourself, this day is not promised. It could be my last. At night, reflect. If this was my final day, did I live with honor? Did I live with love? This is not morbid, it is empowering. It pushes you to stop wasting your hours, to stop postponing, to live now. Here's another exercise. Walk through your possessions in your mind and ask, if I died tonight, would these matter? Most will not. What about your grudges, your envy, your complaints? Would they matter? No. Death makes everything small except virtue. Death reminds you that the only wealth you keep is your character. Imagine if you lived this way every day, already dead to fear, dead to greed, dead to ego. You would be unstoppable because nothing could be taken from you. You already surrendered everything in your mind. That is the meaning of die before you die. So when death finally comes, you will not be surprised. You will not be broken. You will meet it as an old friend because you practiced every day. You will say, I am ready. I have lived. Take me now. Remember this: death is not the enemy. The enemy is wasting life. The one who dies before he dies lives fully. The one who denies death lives half asleep. So from today forward, remind yourself daily: I could leave life right now. Live with urgency. Live with courage. Live with love. Die before you die, and you will finally understand what it means to live. Number 8. Be the actor, not the playwright. How often do you sit and complain about the script of your life? You say, "Why was I born into this family? Why didn't I get more opportunities? Why did this happen to me?" You wish you could rewrite the story, erase the hard parts, change the characters, and shape every event to your liking. But tell me the truth. Has that ever worked? Has life ever bent perfectly to your plans? No. Life does not hand you the pen. The Stoics taught that in this world, you are not the playwright. You do not control the script. You are the actor. The story has already been written by nature, by fate, by forces beyond you. You don't decide what play you are in or what role you are given, but you do decide how you perform it. And that, my friend, is where greatness lies. Epictetus said it best: remember that you are an actor in a play, which is as the playwright wants it to be. Short, if he wants it short. Long, if he wants it long. If he wants you to play a beggar, see that you play even this part well. If a cripple, a ruler, or a private citizen, whatever it may be, see that you play it well. Think about that. You don't get to choose your role, but you do get to choose how you embody it. Some people are born into wealth, others into poverty. Some are born healthy, others sick. Some face constant hardship, others enjoy ease. You cannot control which of these scripts you receive, but you can control whether you play your part with courage, discipline, and honor, or with weakness, bitterness, and complaint. This is the freedom the Stoics understood, the freedom not to write the play, but to perform it well. Life may hand you tragedy, but you can act it with dignity. Life may hand you comedy, but you can act it with humility. Life may hand you greatness, but you can act it with restraint. The problem is that most people spend their lives arguing with the script. They waste energy wishing it were different instead of giving their best performance in the role they have. They don't realize that the strength of an actor is not in choosing the story, but in how deeply he lives it. Ask yourself this: what if your role is to face hardship so others can see courage in action? What if your role is to lead quietly, not loudly? What if your role is to suffer with dignity so your children learn resilience? Would you still resent your part, or would you embrace it as sacred? Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, carried the weight of ruling during wars, plagues, and betrayals. Do you think he wanted that script? No, but he played it with honor. He did not complain that fate made him emperor. He simply asked, "How can I play this role well?" That is why we still read his words today. Now, how can you practice this? Each time you face something outside your control, remind yourself, I am the actor, not the playwright. Stop asking, why me? Start asking, how can I perform this well? If you are poor, perform poverty with strength and gratitude. If you are rich, perform wealth with humility and generosity. If you are sick, perform sickness with patience. If you are strong, perform strength with service. This mindset changes everything. It gives you peace in situations that once filled you with rage. It gives you purpose in moments that once felt meaningless. Because now you understand, the goal is not to control the story, it is to control your character. Remember this: every play ends, every actor leaves the stage. The only question is, how will you be remembered? Did you complain, stumble, and resist your role? Or did you play it with such excellence that the audience, your family, your friends, even history itself, saw something noble in your performance? So from today, stop fighting the script. Stop wishing for a different role. Accept the part you've been given and play it so well that no one can say you wasted your chance. Because the truth is this: you are not the playwright of your life, but you are the actor. And great actors can turn even the hardest roles into unforgettable performances. Number 9. Virtue over brilliance. The world loves brilliance. We admire the genius, the clever speaker, the man who shines with talent. But let me ask you, how many brilliant men have you seen who destroyed themselves through arrogance, greed, or lack of character? How many gifted people have wasted their lives because they had brilliance without virtue? Brilliance can impress, but it cannot sustain. Talent can dazzle, but it cannot guide you when life tests you. Knowledge can make you sharp, but without virtue, it makes you dangerous. The Stoics understood this truth. Brilliance is nothing without character. The true measure of a man is not how clever he is, but how good he is. Marcus Aurelius was emperor, philosopher, and brilliant strategist. But what makes us admire him today is not his intelligence alone. It is his virtue, his kindness, his self-discipline, his fairness, his commitment to justice. Epictetus was sharp and wise. But what makes his words eternal is not his cleverness. It is his integrity as a man who lived his teachings even in chains. Seneca was one of Rome's greatest thinkers, yet his finest lesson was this: virtue is sufficient for happiness. Ask yourself this: what is brilliance without virtue? It is a sword without a hand to guide it. It cuts, but it does not build. It dazzles for a moment, but it does not endure. A man may have brilliance and win applause, but if he lacks honesty, courage, humility, he will fall. The Stoics knew that brilliance belongs to fortune, but virtue belongs to you. Fortune can take away your talent, your success, your reputation, but no one can take away your virtue. Think about it. Would you rather be remembered as clever or as good? As a man who impressed, or as a man who inspired? The clever man may be admired for a moment, but the virtuous man is respected for eternity. Here's the trap. In our time, people chase brilliance. They want to look smart. They want to outshine others. They want to prove their intelligence, their wit, their superiority. But the Stoic does not chase brilliance. He chases virtue. He asks, am I just? Am I disciplined? Am I brave? Am I wise? Because he knows these are the qualities that build a life that cannot be shaken. Virtue is the root. Brilliance is the flower. If you chase the flower and ignore the root, it will wither. But if you cultivate the root, the flower will grow on its own. So how do you live this truth? First, stop obsessing over how smart you appear. Stop trying to win arguments just to prove yourself. Stop caring about praise for your talent. Instead, focus on living with honesty, fairness, courage, and self-control. Ask yourself, in this moment, what would the virtuous man do? Not the clever man, the virtuous man. Second, when you admire others, don't admire only their brilliance. Admire their character. Respect the man who is steady under pressure more than the man who is witty at dinner. Respect the woman who acts with justice more than the one who dazzles with words. Brilliance fades, virtue remains. Third, remember that fortune decides brilliance, but effort decides virtue. You may not be the most talented, you may not be the smartest, but you can always choose to be honest. You can always choose to be disciplined. You can always choose to be courageous. That choice is always in your control, and that choice, more than brilliance, makes you unstoppable. The Stoics believed the highest good was virtue, not brilliance, not wealth, not fame. Virtue was the one thing that led to happiness, the one thing that no power, no enemy, no fate could strip away. So from today, let this be your standard. Do not ask, "Am I impressive?" Ask, "Am I virtuous?" Do not ask, "Do they think I am brilliant?" Ask, "Do they know I am just?" Brilliance can make people applaud you for a moment. Virtue can make them trust you forever. Remember this: brilliance belongs to the few, but virtue is available to all. And in the end, history remembers not who shined the brightest, but who lived the best. So choose virtue over brilliance, for brilliance is a gift, but virtue is a choice. And the man who chooses virtue can never be poor, never be broken, never be defeated. Number 10. Time as humbler. Look at your life. You chase goals, you build plans, you dream of tomorrow as if time belongs to you. But tell me the truth. How many years have already slipped through your hands? How many promises have you delayed? How many moments have you wasted thinking you had more? Time is the one enemy you cannot conquer. You may gain wealth, you may rise in power, you may sharpen your mind, but every day time takes from you. It takes your youth, your strength, your opportunities. No matter how brilliant, no matter how powerful, no man has ever defeated time. And that is why the Stoics called time the great humbler. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The truth is harsh. Life is long enough if you live it wisely, but most people do not. They waste years in distraction, chasing comfort, pleasing the crowd, fearing death. Then one day they wake up old and bitter, realizing too late that time cannot be bought back. Time humbles everyone. Kings and slaves, rich and poor, the proud and the humble. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, ruled the known world, yet he reminded himself every day that he would soon be dust. He looked at fame, wealth, glory, and asked, "What is all this compared to time?" The answer was clear: nothing. Time erases all of it. Statues crumble, names are forgotten, victories fade. Now, here is the key. If you let time humble you, it will also strengthen you. Why? Because once you accept that time is limited, you stop wasting it. You stop living for things that don't matter. You stop chasing the approval of others. You start living with urgency, with focus, with gratitude. You realize every hour is precious, every sunrise is a gift, every breath is borrowed. Ask yourself, how differently would you live if you truly remembered that time is running out? Would you still procrastinate? Would you still argue over small things? Would you still waste days scrolling, comparing, or complaining? No, you would live fully. You would forgive quickly. You would act boldly. You would love deeply. That is what time demands of you. Not fear, but urgency. The Stoics practiced this daily. They meditated on mortality, not to depress themselves, but to sharpen themselves. They looked at time as a strict teacher, reminding them not to waste their lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That is the voice of time, a voice that whispers, "Hurry, Life is passing. So how do you practice this? Start by tracking your days. Each morning, tell yourself, one less day remains. Each evening, ask yourself, did I live well today? Did I waste what cannot be replaced? Be honest. Be strict. Because time is strict, whether you admit it or not. Second, cut out what wastes your time. Empty conversations, endless scrolling, chasing approval, arguing over what doesn't matter. Every hour spent on these is an hour stolen from your life. Protect your time as you would protect your last coin. Spend it only on what is worthy, on growth, on love, on service, on living with virtue. Third, let time humble your pride. Remember, no matter your brilliance, no matter your achievements, time will reduce you to dust. And that is not tragic. It is freeing. Because when you understand that everything fades, you stop clinging, you stop fearing loss, you stop living for applause, you begin to live in the only place that is truly yours, the present moment. Remember this, time is undefeated. It humbles the mighty and the weak alike. But if you live with awareness, if you let time teach you instead of blind you, then you will not fear its passing. You will use it. You will live while you still have breath. So from today, carry this truth. Time is your humbler. Let it remind you of your limits. Let it remind you of your urgency. Let it remind you that life is not measured in years, but in how well you use the days you are given. Because in the end, the question is not how much time did you have. The question is, what did you do with it? You've just discovered the 10 Stoic secrets that can make you unstoppable in 2025. Get up each morning with purpose. Practice negative visualization to value what you have. Detach from outcomes and give your best effort. Journal like a philosopher to sharpen your mind. Seek discomfort in reputation and free yourself from opinions. Redefine wealth as fewer needs and live simply. Use insults as mirrors to grow stronger. Die before you die and live with urgency. Remember, you are the actor, not the playwright. Play your role well. And above all, let time humble you, so you live every moment with clarity and courage. These are not just ideas, they are tools. If you practice them daily, they will shape your discipline, strengthen your character, and give you the power to face anything life throws at you. Now, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Drop a comment below and write, "I am unstoppable." Don't just type it, mean it. Let it be the first step in training your mind for greatness in 2025. And if you're ready to keep growing, learning, and living the Stoic way, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Because this is just the beginning. Together, we will make 2025 the year you become truly unstoppable.